And roll call. Larry?
Here.
Leslie? Here. Ronnie?
Yes.
Jeannie?
Here.
Joey?
Here.
This is the public hearing on the preliminary budget, date November 10th, 2011, time 7 p.m. at the Altona Town Hall, Altona, New York. Excuse me. Supervisor Ross opened the public hearing on the preliminary budget. Pledge of allegiance, board members present. Supervisor Larry Ross, council members, Jeannie Bushy, Joey Snide, Ronnie Labarge, absent Leslie Labarge. Others present, Deputy Supervisor Ellen Montgomery, Attorney Joseph Lavarando. The notice of the public hearing appeared in the Press Republican on 10/25/2011. Supervisor Ross reviewed the budget with those present. Mr. Ross explained the change made to the preliminary budget to stay within the 2% tax cap required by New York State. There were no comments made in favor of or against any item therein contained. Motion to adjourn, to close the public hearing by Joey, seconded by Jeannie. The vote was all ayes. Respectfully submitted, Carol Relation, Town Clerk. The regular town meeting, November 10th, 2011, time 7:30 p.m. at the Altona Town Hall, Altona, New York. Supervisor Ross called the meeting to order following the public hearing. Members of the council and others present are in attendance as previously noted. Minutes of the October 3rd, 2011 were read and accepted. Motion by Joey, seconded by Ronnie. The vote all ayes. The board received a letter from the Rockside seniors excuse me, in reference to the money allowed for the senior bus trip. They would like the wording to be changed to, for use of annual senior trip. The money will not be limited to transportation only. Attorney Joseph Lavarando added that Article 8 of the state constitution prevents donations of taxpayer money to organizations. The SPCA attended the board meeting and presented a video of their organization and their new facility. The town has a yearly contract with them to care for stray animals picked up by our DCO. The town received a check in the amount of $7,003.45. This check represents our town's portion of the mortgage tax distribution for the period of April 1st to September 30th, 2011. Resolution number 63, preliminary budget to adopted 2012 budget. Motion by Ronnie, seconded by Jeannie. The motion was adopted. To accept the preliminary budget as the adopted budget for 2012 with the changes to stay within the 2% tax cap required by New York State. Vote all ayes. Resolution number 64, environmental assessment form. Motion by Joey, seconded by Ronnie. The motion was adopted. The board has completed a short form in reference to the convenience station to be located on the Devil's Den Road. It has been determined that there will be no adverse effect on the environment. Vote all ayes. Resolution number 65, Supervisors Report. Motion by Jeannie, seconded by Ronnie. The motion was adopted. To accept the Supervisors Report as presented. Vote all ayes. Resolution number 66, Approval of Bills. Motion by Joey, seconded by Ronnie. The motion was adopted. To pay the bills as presented. General Fund, $5,778.43. Highway Fund, $59,504.71. Streetlight District Number 1, $1,982.62. Streetlight District Number 21, $384.95. Total, $67,650.71. Vote all ayes. Motion to adjourn by Joey, seconded by Ronnie. The vote is all ayes. Respectfully submitted, Carol Relation, Town Clerk.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as read.
I'll second.
And a vote, please. Excuse me. Larry?
Yes.
Leslie?
Yes.
Jeannie?
Yes.
Joey?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Okay, first thing on the agenda, Ambit Energy, and we have George Martin here to make a little presentation.
How you doing? Ambit Energy is a wholesale provider. We have been in New York State doing business for the last 5 years, doing basically just residential. This September, they opened the market to small commercial, and because of that, we can now do the towns. Somehow Jerry Morrow from the town of Chesterfield actually got on when it was residential. Now, is that letter in that packet?
Yes.
Yes.
It is, okay. Anybody wants to contact Jerry, he'll verify, because he stated to Black Brook supervisor that we saved them actually $6,000 since May, just in their light districts alone. Ambit does two things as far as the savings. They have a kilowatt hour, which you pay, is your side of your delivery bill, which we guarantee the lowest on that. Any new account that comes on by New York State law, we have to give you 7% off for your first 2 months. And then they guarantee 1% after that, because it is a flexible rate. But because of the size of the bill, like Jerry's case, it's been 40–50%. Not only that, we actually are doing energy days in all the towns. I just did Black Brook last weekend. I'm doing Jerry, the town of Chesterfield's, Friday, and All Sable. And what an energy day is, we actually physically come to the town, we set up our computers, we run an ad in the paper, and we invite your town residents in, showing how we can save you energy as well for your town residents. Now, what the towns benefit from that, and the town residents, is that they also have a referral program. Like, for an example, when I sign one of your meters on, you get an account number. And you take that account number, you go to joinambit.com, refer 15 of your resident people to come in underneath you. And then what they do is, as a referral, they give you a benefit. They take the 15 meters that were referrals, and that's an additional savings on your light bill. And then all your residents that come in, they can do the same thing with their A number. So it's a huge savings for the towns. This is a letter I just received the other day, which I'll pass out to you guys, which is from Finney Sports, and they actually stated we saved them over $1,000 on the rate sign. There is no contract. You can opt out anytime. A customer can opt out at any time. There's no penalty fees for leaving early if you did, but we do put it in writing. We guarantee you that we will be the cheapest for you. And Ambit Energy is owned by Jerry Thompson Jr., that's 7-Elevens out of Texas. So we actually have companies like Heinz Ketchup, which is backing us. I mean, this is a huge company. And because we are in Texas, we are in Illinois, we are in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Illinois, Maryland. And because we are in all these states, when Dutch Shell Oil saw what we were doing, they actually came in as partners with us. So actually, we get it wholesale. For an example, like National Grid, NICEX Solutions, when they go buy power, they gotta buy it, say, I'm just gonna throw a number, because I don't know what they buy it at, but I'm just gonna throw a number, say it's $20 a kilowatt, where we're getting it like on the pennies for a kilowatt. And that's why we can do the savings for the customer. So,
What is your kilowatt hour price?
it's running right now in the market 4 and 5.
4 to 5. Now,
And we actually had, what did I do with that? We actually do have, which I just received this the other night from a company up in Saranac Lake. I don't have copies of it, but you're welcome to it. And you can see from August 2010 to October 11, his kilowatt rates by going on Ambit went down from 0.08 to 0.42, which is the lowest on the market. And that's from a company that gave us their stats, how every month it's going down and down.
Now, you said that yours would be 4 or 5 cents cheaper than what we're buying?
Yeah, from what I've seen from Airville, yeah,
Our fixed rate is 6 cents.
6 cents, so we're guaranteeing you 4 or 5. I mean, you're gonna get 7% for the first 2 months, they put that in writing. And then it depends on the size of the bill. We've got some people, because they're only burning a couple $100, but where the streetlight districts, in Jerry's case, and he proved that to us, I mean, that was like $3,000 just since May.
Now, if we're paying 6 cents now and you're gonna save us 4 or 5, so we'll be paying you a penny a kilowatt hour for the first 2 months?
They say 7%, so they go by the incumbent, whatever, when they get that, and that's what they do. They put it all in writing. It was all something that, New York State Trade Commission put in, and that said we had to do it that way. So what they do is they look at the bill, what you're paying an incumbent, I don't know if they take it off that, or if they take it off NICEX rates.
Now, you're only guaranteeing 2 months, what happens after 2 months?
They say it's 1%, they guarantee after that, which is still a savings. But in Jerry's case, it's still been 40, 50% savings on some of his meters. Because it depends on the size of the meter, how much you use. And that's how they determine the rate.
Do they give you a rate not to exceed?
No,
So you don't have a fixed rate?
no, we don't. We're a flexible rate. But they guarantee, they put that in writing, you'll get a notification when time you come on that it is a flexible rate. But they guarantee they will always be the lowest rate.
Yeah, but if they're a flexible rate and everything goes up, there's nothing stopping them from going over the top of what we are paying.
But they won't go, if they go up, they're definitely gonna go up. We will be compatible with NICEX all the way. NICEX right now, for example, Mark Wine Redemption Center just came on, and he actually gave us showed us a rate of what NICEX said it should have been, and we're right below that by 2 cents.
Are we on a fixed rate or a variable rate?
It's a fixed rate with 6 cents. And while 5.7 on one bill and 6 on the other, there's 2 different accounts, so
So
we're about 6 cents.
you're gonna see at least 3%, 4% cheaper than, so that's a big jump. Yeah. When you're talking kilowatt hour. And like I said, there is no contract, and this is so big, we actually are gone, since I talked to you last, we physically reached out, because of Jerry's letter, we actually reached out to over 700 towns now that we have faxes out, and we're waiting to put stuff together. Peru is coming on in January, they already confirmed us that. The village of Chateauguay is putting stuff together, and Denimor's the 14th, they're supposed to be putting their stuff and giving us, we already did a pre-invitation for them too, which would be Denimor and I know. I mean, this is huge for the state, there's no doubt about it.
George, if you're offering variable rate only, can you guarantee that your rates will never exceed our fixed rate?
They put that in writing,
Is that
they
right?
do. If, that's what's nice about it, in the letter, it's not a contract, 'cause there is no contract. In the letter, they state in 12-month period, they will be the lowest.
Yeah, but will
If
it still
they
be
did
lower than
not, and they
fixed?
went over what you were paying now, they will pay your bill. They put that in writing.
Even if
You
we're on
get
a
a
fixed
written
rate?
guarantee
Yep.
from the state of New York, and it's the only one that will give you a written guarantee that it will be lower.
Even if you're on a fixed rate?
Yep.
I've talked to a couple of towns that were involved, they seem to be happy with it so far. Talked to Osceola, and they just converted.
Yeah, they actually have 3 of them that energized just last week, and then I've got 3 more that are energizing after the first.
I don't know where we go from here, we'd have to,
Well,
if we decide we're gonna do it.
if you decide you wanna do it, the way I'm doing the towns, because I wanna sit down with you, get all I need from you is your billing address, the service address on the bill the way it is, and then the pod number. And then what I do is that we have a computer system program, which was set up by the state, which I have to put that into the system, which goes into Texas. Texas sends it to New York State, which is a third-party company that verifies everything. And then once the verification's done with New York State, it goes by the next meter reading, and then they're automatically energized. But once we get you in the system, and they're verified there, and I get the A number, then in January, we can set up an energy day for your residents.
If the town goes with you and in a year decides not to, is there any penalty?
No,
Bring it back?
That's what's nice about it. In 6 months, if you feel you want it, you automatically jump back right to your incumbent. There is no penalty fees with us. There's no contract, a customer can leave at any time.
So how much notice is required?
To set, I just need at least sometimes before the first of the month to get the meters in, so I can get the A numbers, which will take the one day that I'm here. I can actually punch them in, do the verification, we have an 800 number that we call, and you have to answer your name and yes to the questions. And then once that's done, I get the A number, and then you just tell me when in January you wanna book a date, and I'm doing most of the energy days all on Saturday.
My question was, if the town went with Ambient and decided at some point that it wanted to terminate service, how much of a
They can do it with
notification?
one phone call, they don't have to, there is no,
Now, can residents take advantage of this without the town?
yes, yeah.
The term, our term ends 12/31, so we have to.
Well, that's what, I'll say, well, because they're the same ones, those other three. Now, I don't know when, you had your last meter cycle, like on Sandra's for All Sables. Hers was last month, because it's every other month. So her next one is gonna be, so I'm physically punching her other four that end the 31st now, because they won't go pending or energized to January anyway. So you won't break your contract by switching now. Because you're still gonna be with them right up to the date that they take the next meter reading. But I would contact NICEX Solutions and tell them that on 31st is gonna be the last date of service, so you are switching, so that they don't, because Sandra said that they did this to her last year without her even knowing. They switched, they rolled right over, when it came to first, they automatically rolled the contract over on her.
They said they will.
Yeah, they do. That's
Yeah,
right.
so at least, like, this week, if it's something you're gonna do, contact them and say, as of the 31st, it's gonna be done. And then by then, I'll have you in the system.
What questions of the board? Anybody have questions on it?
There's the answer.
Or do you wanna- We'd have to have a vote of the board now, because, well, not necessarily, I could, if you wanted to switch over to this, we need to be able to get moving pretty fast, because we don't have much time. 12/31 is the ending date of this contract.
I mean, that's something, if you go to, what I can do is come in like next week before Christmas, I'll sit down with you. Just takes me probably an hour to do what I gotta do with the meters, put them in the system. And then just pick a date on a Saturday you wanna do it, which was, I think you just pulled up, was the 7th,
Yes,
14th, or 20th, something like
Saturday's the
that.
7th. We would both come in.
Well, we're actually gonna do two physical energy days. That's why I would have to know, because now we're paying to put it in the paper. You can see in this week's paper, the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, there's an ad in the paper for a public notice that we're gonna be at the town of Chesterfield's office, 8 to 5 on Friday. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, there's an ad in the public notice for the town of Los Sable, because we're doing their energy day. And we pay for that publication. All it is just a little public notification, town residents of Los Sable, wherever we're at, a power consultant will be at our town offices on such date, and you let it go in, or so we can save your energy like we did the town. So,
And you will have time, you would have time to do this before the 31st?
Yep.
In-town residents could come and ask you questions,
Absolutely.
bring their bills.
Yep.
Works out even better.
And that's nice too, because the town residents, which we just got from when we did the town of Black Brook, which was nice about that, the residents were happy that they were coming to help not only themselves, but they were helping the town meters by doing that referral. Because when I find the residents up, I don't sign them up under me as a personal consultant, I sign them up underneath the town A numbers. So that helps you get that extra, $100 a month savings or whatever it is for each meter.
Well, I need a motion to pursue this, if the town board wishes to do this, but I need a motion to pursue it, and maybe if it's something you wanna do, then we need to give permission to switch. I would say upon discussions with NICEAG Solutions that we aren't getting any.
I was gonna honestly say, I've never heard of this before, 5 minutes ago. I don't know. I guess I.
But that's why we
researched it
gave-
a little
that's why we
more
got the
before I wanna
letter.
say.
Yeah, well,
I
That's-
mean, I don't know.
That's why I gave you the letter of referral from Jerry Morrow.
yeah.
I mean, he was the first town supervisor that did this, and because of his letter, that's why you were able, because Ambit Energy, that's one thing they train us as, they started off, they didn't want us to do telemarketing, we're not allowed to pick up phone books and call and do whatever. And everything that they wanted was all from referrals, because they want, you know, people that know people, deal people, and that's why we were able to do what we're doing with the towns, because of the town of Chesterfield, by Jerry giving us that letter. So Jerry's basically put his hand out to all the towns and saying, this is what I saved, please look at this, and they can do the same thing for you.
Is your business plan a license on the,
Yes, we are.
on the internet somewhere?
Yes,
We can read that?
that's the whole thing about anybody that sells power, you have to be registered with the New York State Trade Commission,
Yep.
or we couldn't even come into the state and do stuff.
Do you bill just on direct usage, or is there a demand charge also?
No, we do it's just a direct bill. So that's what's sweet about our billing, nothing changes with whoever, like, this is NICEAG territory, so NICEAG would still bill you. You just, like, on the third page of your bill, I actually have a NICEAG bill here.
And then our business card, our website.
This is an actual NICEAG bill. So what they do is, you know how you get like page 3, 4 of the NICEAG bill? It actually say Ambit Energy with your account number, and it says what your kilowatt hour use is. Then you go back to the main page where it shows your NICEAG and everything. So that all stays the same. So you have one bill still, you pay NICEAG. Any problems with the lines, NICEAG still takes care of the lines.
Well, I'd have to, yeah, he's gonna come in if we switch, he's not coming in for a switch.
That, talked about meeting, energy day and energy day.
So I like to do that in January.
Oh, in January.
Right.
Because I like to get you all on, get your A numbers on, so I have your numbers for each one of your meters. So when I come in, I set up 4 or 5 computers, whoever's comes in to help me do this. As your residents come in, we'll have your A number for each of your meters. And then as the customers come in and they give us their light bill and they want to sign up as customers, we're going to take your A number, joinambit.com. Town of Altona shows up on the website. We punch sign in here as a referral. So when that customer comes on, each one of those counts as your referrals. So if I get you 15 for every one of your meters, you're gonna get an average discount, like you see here I have it. But in this case, it was $114, right off the NICEAG bill. So I cut the light bill right down to half, all he paid was the delivery fee.
So you're saying the next time you come, you're signing up,
He's not coming unless we sign.
unless that's it?
Right.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, I could still do an energy day for your customers if you want me to do that in January.
well, that's true.
But, I mean, the town benefits from, by signing your meters on it.
Yeah, so in other words, if we're going to do it and we don't do it until after he has energy day, then we don't get credit for the other school.
I mean, because that could be, that's $100 a month after month for each meter you could save.
How
That's a
long
different-
does that go?
That's indefinite, indefinite.
Well, I mean, if the board passed the resolution, it could make it contingent upon receiving the written guarantee that our rates in the future would not fall below the proposed fixed rates
Well, that's what would be
by
nice,
NICEAG Solutions.
that's what would be nice, that's why I say we sign you up now, before the first of the year, when we do that. By then, and it will have all those documentations mailed to you that state that.
So if it turns out that that's not the case, we can, as George has indicated, we can terminate
At any
the
time.
agreement
Phone call.
by phone call.
So we need to entertain a motion to that effect. What we need in the motion is is my right to switch this upon receiving a guarantee from Ambit and also investigating some of these other towns to make sure everybody's still happy.
George, is it Ambit guarantees they won't go above the NICEAG rate or the NICEAG fixed rate for our town?
Fixed rate it's the fixed rate for the towns, whatever in that area, because every area is different. So whatever the fixed rate is for this area, that's what they guarantee you'll be the savings on.
Now, does the town have a different fixed rate than the general Joe in the town? When I studied Ambit, I understood it to be the NICEAG rates, not fixed rates. But
Well, NICEAG is a variable rate, and that's what we are, is a variable
what I'm
rate.
understanding from the town is we have a locked-in rate.
With solutions.
Which is solutions, which is 2 cents higher than what we're guaranteeing you now.
So you're gonna guarantee to continue to beat solutions?
Yes.
If that's not the case, then.
Then you have the right to go
It's
back
easy
just by
enough to
one phone
switch back.
call.
I wonder if we'd be welcome to go back, that's the thing.
And if you went back, what would the rate be when you went back?
That's a,
Well, NICEAG is always, that's like Mark Lyon's case, that's why he contacted them, and their rate is 4 or 5 cents a kilowatt. But because we are a wholesale provider, and we are in the 6, we can do that extra 2 cents lower.
That's what we have.
With solutions now.
and that's what has to be my motion if you want to try this, because we don't have time to wait because the 31st is.
They wouldn't have penalized you by going back. I mean, they're only gonna penalize you if you break a contract now, before their contract deadline is.
The beauty of this, we're not breaking the contract, because we'll
Right.
finish it up
Right,
to
and-
12/31. And to get the written guarantees, well, we're not really out anything, we'll be safe.
But is it a written guarantee?
Yes.
It's a guarantee.
Mhm. You get a letter with a seal stamped right from Ambit Corporate.
Which is good for a year, 2 years?
No, it's indefinite. And they also, in the letter, they also state that in a 12-month period of time, if you ended up paying more than what you did previous, they will pay your bill.
And this company has been around since 2006.
And, I mean, and you just talk of the people that are, like, the owners of it, Jerry Thompson Jr., his grandfather was known for the 7-Elevens. I mean, they've been around since the 20s. He's got a 500 fortune company, Hunch Ketchup, and there's hundreds of them that are backing him because of what he's doing with this. And this is all because of a power program that he designed, that he knows exactly how much customers are using. So when he goes to the grid and they buy it, they're not overbuying. NICEAG Solutions, Agway, all these people, when they go buy off the grid, they don't know what they gotta buy, so they're buying thousands of dollars over the kilowatt of what they actually need, and it goes in the system and nobody knows where it goes. So because of this program, Dutch Shell Oil became partners with them because they won't sell them the program. So they figured if you're gonna be buying that much, and we're actually talking international, we're talking by January 28th, they are actually opening up 48 new markets for us. I don't know what states they are, I just know there's 48 new ones coming on. And it's just not electrical, it's natural gas as well.
Gas and
We'll entertain a motion, anybody wants to make?
I'll make a motion to go forward with Amber Energy. Now, do we have to have anything, I mean, it's a guarantee.
Guaranteed.
So,
We'll be contingent on our guarantee, and also I'll
Correct.
check with NICEAG Solutions to
Right.
make sure there's any problem there.
I'll second the motion.
And a vote, please. Jeannie?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Leslie?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Joey?
yes.
Okay, number 2 on the agenda, Joe.
When,
Oh,
would you
sorry.
want a date when you want me to come in and do the meters? Are you gonna just call me, or?
I better call you, I guess, yeah, so give me a chance to check.
All I need is just the pod numbers, which is the NOP1 number, your service address, which appears on each bill, and your billing address, which is the same on every bill. That's all I need, there's no other information we need. I sat down with you, I put all that stuff in there, in information, and then it just goes in. Once it goes in, I get the A number, and then I do an 800 number, and we verify it, and it's that easy.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you for coming in.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate that. And I will be getting a hold of you as soon as I get a chance to check.
I'd like to leave this, if you start, you can pass it on if you want. Thank you.
Like I said, the papers starting Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You'll see an ad in the paper for the other towns that we're doing. And I'll run one the same way for the town of Altona.
Okay. Anybody have any more questions on that? Okay, we'll move on.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, Joyce Boyer, Kathy, and Todd Blondo. Has to be put on the agenda.
Good evening, Larry. Board, as you recall, last October, 2 months ago, Todd and I stopped in because we were concerned about the state of the river.
Right.
And I don't know if anybody's had the opportunity to take a ride by to look at actually what we're concerned about, is that pile of rocks kind of up behind our house on the bend of the river. And if we have another situation like Irene or even less severe, I feel we're in line for damage. The river jumping its bank and coming. And we came and asked if there was anything that was going to be done, and you said you would check into it.
I did.
So that's,
And I did check into it, and what I applied for a permit for Todd Deal, because the town didn't have money in the budget for that. So I talked to Todd Deal because he sells rocks. So I said, well, maybe it'd be a win-win situation. He'll take care of the problem, and we won't have to put out have any money going out. And Todd agreed to do it. I went Thursday, and his secretary said, yes, I reminded him today, he's been up to look at it. He said there's like 1,000 loads of rocks to pull out of there. So he's asking for an extension on there because he's been really busy apparently. Because I want to find out why he isn't, why aren't we getting somewhere? And he's asking for an extension on the permit. So
and
he
what
should-
was the deadline on the permit?
The end of this month, end of December. So I haven't been able to only talk to him on the phone, but I went down to his secretary's and they assured me that he was still doing it. It's just a matter he hasn't.
So what happens if he doesn't get an extension?
Did he get the extension, or?
I don't know, that was Thursday I'd asked and I haven't heard back from him. But he's planning on taking rocks out of there, so I'll get a hold of him again and see if he's got an extension.
Who does he get the extension from? How
It
does
would
that-
be through DEC or Army Corps.
How long
On
do they,
DEC is where I got the permit.
How long do they issue the permit for? Like, is it only good for a month or?
No, well, they gave it to me, when did I apply for that? Right after I talked to you people.
Well, we came in
October.
October, the October meetings.
And I got it within, it took like no time to get it. I've never had a permit come that quickly. But they gave it till the end of December, or so it's good for whatever they put on there, I guess, for the date. But I can check again and hopefully I can get ahold of him to give him a little prod, see if he'll get going in a little bit.
Exactly, because
But
if
he
he
is
keeps
planning.
putting it off, then we're going to be in a situation where there's several people sitting here that might be impacted by the next
And it's
disaster.
not only us, I mean, it goes right down the whole Joe Wood Road,
Yeah.
most everybody down
And
there.
unfortunately, my permit only is good for 300 feet up and down the stream. And when they give it parcels, so they won't give you the whole, the whole thing. But
So that would cover that pile.
that pile of
above.
rocks is what I was looking at
Right.
us there. And then whatever's downstream, within 300 feet downstream of the bridge.
Very long.
Yeah. that's
so
just
once
what
that 300 feet is done, are you getting another permit to pick up where that 300 feet left off and continue down the river?
I don't know that. That would depend on Todd and also on DEC.
Where's your 300 feet going from? Not the curve up here.
No, from the bridge.
From the bridge,
Up
on
and
each
down.
side
Up
of the
and down.
bridge.
So is that just 150 feet up and 150
No,
feet down?
300 both
300.
ways.
300 on one side, 300 on the other side.
Mainly what I was concerned about was that mound of rocks. on
No,
the sea.
and there's many piles of rocks down that river, Larry, because we walked it. I mean, that whole river has been changed.
Well, I
The
talked
whole-
to Clinton County, and they have no intentions of going in there. They said they have no time and they have no resources to do it. We're not supposed to be in there, but I asked if they minded if I tried to intervene so that I could get something done, and they said, go ahead, and that's how I came up with Todd. So far, it doesn't look too good, because he had.
Is there anybody else in the background that,
No, well, anybody
do
else
that?
would want, you'd have to pay them to get it out of there, because, they don't sell the rock.
and he would just take the rocks and
He would
sell them,
take the
that would
rocks
be
for the
his?
price of it. And I got permission from the landowner to get him in on this side. Did that also. So he has permission to go in, he has permit to go in. It was just a matter of getting him in there. And any dealings I've had with him, he's so busy that it's hard to get him going, hard to get him there.
Does he realize, that he does realize the situation that could,
Yep, and
occurred?
he agreed to do it to help the town.
Right.
And also to help, help himself, I guess, to get all those rocks.
Joyce has some other information.
Yeah, in my opinion, the Army Corps of Engineers is the one that should be going in there
They are.
and doing the work. They are going,
No, they're not gonna do it, but I
No.
mean, all they're doing is
That's-
sidestepping it.
yeah, they're sidestepping it. And I got on the internet and I found this information on the Army Corps of Engineers. And one of the things that they're supposed to do is to, they'll have the applications and recommendations, efforts include maintenance, bank stabilization. That would include us along the river, okay? Minor discharges, minor dredging, stream and wetland restoration activities, temporary construction, access and dewatering, and repair of uplands damaged by discrete events. And this is the Army Corps of Engineers. I didn't have enough to go all the way around.
It's okay.
Give you somewhere. I was running out of ink. So, but I'll give you what we have here. So you can see what they're responsible for.
I also looked into what you were talking about, Joyce, that natural resources conservation service.
That's right, yes.
That isn't, they have no funds.
They have no funds at the moment.
Right.
They have no funds at the moment, but there is $216 million coming in.
But
I
did you
don't know
see-
why we can't get some of that money. The only problem with that organization is that you have to have a sponsor. In this location here, it would be the town. They would put in 75% of the expenses, and the town would have to put in 25%.
The only trouble, where they're gonna get us, is that the town would have to pay for, total cost for a professional engineer, which they pound you with that.
Well, not minus 7.5%.
7.5%, that's nothing. And
And-
also would have to guarantee 10 years of taking care of it.
Operational maintenance.
But if you want to talk to someone that, her name is Sarah Fitzwater.
Yeah, I've got all this stuff.
You've got all that,
Yeah.
and Kevin Bruce is for the Army Corps of Engineers.
Right, and I've talked to him also.
And,
They didn't seem to have any intentions of doing it.
No,
Well,
I
originally,
know.
the county said that the Army Corps was gonna study the river from one end to the other, and they were gonna do all this fixing. And, well, you know what you got, same thing I got, they sidestepped
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, I know.
I can call him again and see if we can put a little more pressure on him, but,
That's what they need to be, some pressure put on. Because otherwise than that, we're gonna flood time and time again. And now we're in a period where the climate is, you can't depend on it anymore. I mean, we've had a hurricane, it might not be the last one we ever see. So,
Fred's gonna try to go and take the stuff out from under the bridge, being that we still have the permit in hand. He's gonna try to get that stuff out. We're not
That's
supposed to be in there, but, to help the town, if he can
Yeah.
get it out of there without risking life and limb, we'll try that. Meantime, I'll get a hold of Army Corps again, and I'll get a hold of Todd Dio again, and see if we can get some movement.
very good. Thank you.
Larry, the river has I don't know, it's changed its course a little bit, but, it's not a full flow change down on the Joe Wood Road. So there's a flow there, and the beavers are starting to work in there.
Yeah.
And they're gonna make dams, and then the next time they have something here, you're gonna have more damage down that way because of that change. You know, whether that Army Corps of Engineers is gonna sit in their hands or what they're gonna do, but it's gonna be worse next time. Because if the big flood comes, and then it's gonna bust out the beaver dams that are building along that new route there. It's not a full flow where it broke off, you know?
Right.
It's not a full flow, and like I say, it's just right for them beavers. Yeah, they're working on it.
Yeah, I've already gave people permission to go beaver hunting on my land now.
We could get somebody to trap them, they're driving, that's what's causing all the problems up on the other end, it's giving us trouble down here. A lot of the trouble with the flood was that beaver dams broke out up on Altona.
I know.
And,
But also down the Joe Wood Road, if you walk the river from the Green Bridge all the way into Moore's, if you walk that, you will see where the debris in some areas is over 12 feet high.
yeah.
And the water is going to, if we ever have another flood, that debris is gonna divert that river again.
I know, you try to get their attention, and they're, of course, they're national, so they're worried more about what places everywhere else but here, I guess, but, you can't go in there without permission from Army Corps, and you can't go in there without permits, and it's, you know, hopefully, we can at least get taken care of right around here, because we did get that permit in. I'm gonna try to do that. We'll try to push the Army Corps to go through with these, studies that they said they were gonna do. I told them, you don't have time to study, you don't need to study, you need to clean it. You have to study, and it's gonna take too long.
Did the DEC give you any indication that they would not be able to issue any additional permits for areas further downstream or upstream?
He didn't tell me that. But there was a deadline when they were issuing these permits, and like I said, that's the quickest I've ever seen them operate. I called, I only got an answering machine, and 20 minutes later, a guy called me back with a permit. And I said, holy smokes, any other time you can't get them to do anything. But, so the permit wasn't hard that time at least, and
They emailed us with a permit for the trap the beaver.
They emailed me the permit.
Just like that.
so they know, see.
They know there's a problem.
They know there's a problem, and they don't wanna deal with it. So they want, if there's anybody will deal with it, they'll try to make it work, and that's what we're at right now.
Larry, you mentioned the county, since we have a relatively new county employee here, I'd like to go on record as my experience with the county. And when I was supervisor, that was when I was a teenager, we had a flooding problem, and flooded out on the other side of my house. I said to Al Rasco, I said, why don't you put another culvert in there? I said, that culvert, box culvert's not gonna take care of it. Oh, no, he said, that's a 1 in a 10-year flood. He said, you'll never be bothered again. Guess what? You will bothered again.
That's for sure.
So when they were replacing the bridge down there again, I went over and I said to him, why don't you put a culvert in there? Oh, we can't do that, we can't improve it, FEMA's paying for it. So that's what the county does, they sidestep it.
Well, not only that, the county did the same exact thing back together that washed out the other time. They put the bridge back the same exact way it was. They didn't even add to it up here. So,
Sure.
it hasn't helped us very much. I have talked to the county. He said he has no intentions of going in there. They aren't even gonna clean the debris up from underneath the bridge. He said they have no, they're stretched right out with the roads, and they have no time or inclination of getting in there, so.
Now, this permit that runs out, you said at the end of this month, cleaning underneath the bridge to 300 feet here, 300 feet there. Can you get another permit that will pick up
That's
you
what-
yourself, not Todd Dio, you
Well,
yourself?
I would be the one trying to get it, yeah.
That will allow Mr. Terrian to go in and try to clear out some of that himself?
I don't know if they'll let town in there. I haven't asked.
Well, you can ask, right?
I haven't heard back, right? Upstream, they hired see, what you gotta watch out for is we can't do the work of a contractor, because then we're putting somebody else out of work, and that's when the town gets in trouble. So you have to watch out for that. So up on Rapidu Road, was it that they hired people? Yeah. Rapidu Road and, up a little farther or down, which one was it? Yeah. They hired guys to go in and get the rocks out, and they got permits issued right to them to do that. So, see, that's where you get trouble if somebody does that for a living and we go in and do it, then somebody's upset while the town's taking.
Well, then let them volunteer to go in and get their permit, get in
I
and
think
get
we
the
need to take care of our
rocks
town
out.
people first, before we worry about anybody else.
Oh, I know, but I'm talking about the law.
So we gotta step on somebody's feet or the law. The Indians got a big backhoe sitting right in front of their dam, what's with that? How can they do it? Because they can get away with anything, right? They don't seem to be scared of the law.
I've asked that question more than once.
But if you have a permit, Larry, how can these people who would be upset, because you were cleaning it out as the town was clearing it out, how can they be upset if you carry the permit?
Well, the permit was for Todd Deal to take the rocks away, it wasn't actually for the town itself.
Can you get one for the town itself?
I don't know that. I didn't try, I tried for Todd Deal.
Larry, did you make an application to FEMA
Yes,
as a town?
yes. We
Have
did.
you gotten anywhere with that?
Yep, that's the last thing on my agenda. From the first flood we did, the second flood, we still are doing in the paperwork. So, I mean, the one that caused the most
Caused the
problems.
most trouble, yeah.
We're still in the paperwork stages. But yes, we did make a claim right off. We filed emergency, we did everything within, right off the bat, but, these agencies aren't used to working very quickly, and it's hard to make anybody move.
Yeah, they told me the same thing, because FEMA's gonna do some repair on well, anybody knows, where the tree is standing, that's as far as they're going, because the rest of it is, private property, and I understand that, that's fine. When it's gonna be done, though, I don't wanna hold my breath,
Yeah, for sure.
but,
At least if they give you a plan, so you know how to attack it, that's one thing. They won't let you just do it, you gotta have a big plan, you gotta have all this stuff.
you have to fight, and you have to
What I
contact
fi-
everybody that you can possibly think of in order to get people moving.
Well, what I find is it isn't just a matter of you wanna go in there and take this out, or you wanna go in there and move these rocks here or there. You gotta have a plan, you gotta have everything
gotta
written
have a
out, and
plan.
everything's gotta be done. By the time you get that done, it's too late to do it, you know?
I
You
know.
can't, they gotta accept it, they
It's at
gotta
the
come
wrong
and
time of
check.
the year for,
Before anybody can touch anything, Army Corps has to come in and look. And they don't move that quickly.
no, they don't.
So that's. where the problem
Meanwhile,
Is there any contacting that we as the citizens of the town can,
Help you with?
I don't know what would work, I don't know if they would respond to that kind of thing. Now, you've talked to them, Joyce, and you know how they tap dance, so I don't know. Maybe,
well,
Maybe a campaign.
more places, more concerns, and they'll say, wait a minute, we do have a problem here.
yeah.
Bill Owens is working directly with the Army Corps. I know he supposedly touched bases with them on Ellenberg. So this is a great time of year to get a favor from him.
Should we be
I
calling
would
Bill?
call his office or write a letter and say, hey, this is what's going on, get your people out to look at it, please. A large portion of our town is concerned.
Yeah,
It's an
because
election
it
year for him,
impacts.
so it's important for him to get out here.
Maybe
Does that
picture,
sound all right?
Sure, anything that'll help, anything that'll help, I'm glad.
Larry, I mentioned this to you, but for the benefit of the rest of the crowd. When Minor wanted to control the river, he built 2 dams and a penstock. What have we got now? 1 dam and the Indians control it.
Right,
We're an endangered species down here.
and they don't really control it because of the way it's designed. They couldn't open or shut it the night of the storm because where they control it is underneath the flow. So you couldn't get under it. And believe it or not, it is. I went there in the spring and they had as much as a tandem dump truckload of ice over the top that I said, how you gonna turn that gate? So we're not until spring, or until it melts. I don't know who designed it, they should have been arrested, but, it's crazy. They got it underneath where, like, if the water's coming from a spillway, it's on their head, they can't change anything. So, Owens might be a good place to start. I have had good luck with him, getting back to us, so I hadn't thought about asking him because that's someone I haven't really dealt with a lot. I just started asking, stuff of him, so maybe that's a good one to start with. I've always been after Betty Little, she's been great, and she usually helps us more than anything, so, maybe I'll give her a little shot and see if she can shake up the Army Corps also.
I've also talked with, well, not her herself, but her secretary, Senator Gilderland, and I think things are might start trickling down from her office too, but she was the one that really started, pushing for the money for us, up here in upstate New York after the hurricane, so I don't know, maybe that contact will have some fruit too, I don't know.
Well, what we can
But we
do, I
try,
guess, is,
you know.
maybe what we could do is for,
I figure the more people know about our problem, maybe we'll get some help.
maybe we can start like a letter writing campaign to all those politicians.
Yeah.
Maybe, anybody been taking pictures of the areas that you're concerned about?
Yeah, I'm taking
I think
pictures.
a picture is worth 1,000 words.
And they've been sent, those pictures have been sent.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember or not, didn't, a while back, Champlain had, was it the river, street or the river road, that was bought out by the state because they couldn't control the flooding?
Oh, I'm not sure, I didn't.
Maybe that would be something to consider.
I remember hearing that. I think that he's right.
I believe it was FEMA that bought them out.
What's that?
I think it was FEMA that bought them out.
They also bought out River Street in Morrisonville. Right. And they bought all those homes.
I remember that years ago, they did that, right?
That was the 1990s.
Yeah, a long time.
They bought those out. They bought my house.
That was like 100 years.
And I got a bridge that washes out, they'll throw in.
So that's the way we'll handle the rest. I'll go back to pushing a little bit. I'll work on the permit. I'll get a hold of Todd Deal.
Yeah, I think he needs to give us a date when he will begin.
I think so too.
We'll
You know,
go
not
through.
keep hanging us there, yeah, I'll do it, I'll do it.
You're sick of, you're gonna get the weather and the snow and then you're gonna be screwed.
Yeah,
Well, we'll give it a shot and see what we can do.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been lucky with weather so far, but
Sure have.
this is not
So
gonna
it
hold.
was.
I don't think.
We'll give it what we can, and like I said, I'll get a hold of those numbers. I'll give them a call tomorrow to Owen's office and Betty's
Good,
office and see what we can do there too.
Maybe some pressure, yeah.
See what we can. It's just painfully slow, these people, they don't comprehend the problems.
Well, they're not in the situation, so.
That's
Well,
right.
I mean, they face like what happened in Louisiana and stuff like that, so.
Right.
This doesn't mean anything to them,
Right.
it's like, as much as it should, as much as it does us, you know. But we'll give it a shot and see what happens. And, I'll push again and see if we can get something going. I haven't dropped the ball on that, like I said, I was down there Thursday, and he had been up already to look at it and said he was going to do it, so it's just a matter of getting him in there.
Final comment, Larry. I'm happy to see that Joe has joined the rest of us. He has to wear glasses.
And I don't enjoy it.
Anyone else?
Oh, do you know the condition of the Indian Dam? Is it cracked, is it,
It's all new.
I know, but I've heard that it's cracked and damaged.
Well, underneath, but they repaired that. It was leaking underneath it originally, and then they repaired it, so I don't know.
I noticed through the summer that somebody was holding back water. And what I'm concerned is up at Shazy Lake. If they hold it back and they're not ready to take a bad storm, then they open the gates and the water comes down. I mean, it's not just, I think that's something that we should talk about Shazy Lake, with how they control that, because they were holding the water back all summer.
Well, they've
Well,
dropped
keep
it,
their
they're down,
water up on
down
the
about
docks.
30 feet right now.
Huh?
Well, yes, after the storm.
No, but,
No.
but
No, they're doing repairs, so
They're-
their water's very low right now.
They're
I
fighting
bet
the
they had to
algae.
do
But that has
repairs.
nothing to do with the question.
But what I'm saying is that I think one of our problems was they were holding back water all summer long to keep their lake up high. And when they knew that a storm was coming, obviously, and I noticed the river was still dry, they weren't letting water out, so that when we got the 5 inches, it shouldn't have caused that much damage. But because they opened up their gates, we got a lot of damage because of that action. And what I'm wondering is, how can we be in communication with Shazy Lake for them to have a little bit more respect for us downriver?
Well,
Because this has happened more than once that they've done that, and then they have to fix their locks, because they open it up and it breaks them.
see, they're supposed to call before they open it. And in this case, I called them when we started getting all the water, and I said, look, at whatever you're doing up there, close it. I only got an answer machine. Joe Varon was the one that controlled it, and later found out that Joe was in the hospital, he wasn't home, and he had turned it over to someone else, and they didn't tell me who the new person was at that point. So I don't think we got any satisfaction of anybody slowing it down. I thought it would be taken care of. Usually you call Joe and leaves, Joe gets right on it, but he was.
Because the
he wasn't
river
even
was
there.
like bone dry.
Yep, it
And
was.
so
In
they
fact,
were
even that
holding-
night when I
Yes.
left here at 6 o'clock, it was low.
And this has happened before with the other dams, where they had to fix their locks because they just open it up. You know, if we could just get some kind of communication with them, that maybe during the summer, lower the level of your lake to be prepared for a storm, instead of opening it up and bringing it all down here. Because 5 inches, we shouldn't have gotten that damage.
Right.
But all summer, that river was bone dry.
It was.
And that hurt our river here too. Now, that should not be allowed. We should have some kind of a communication going on, that they shouldn't be able to dry up the river and then not be prepared, that when they know a storm is coming, why keep it so high? I know they like it for their docks and their boats, but we're the ones that have gotten it the last 3 times, and then the state fixes their locks.
We got a letter from Vespaveta, and he also put it in the newspaper. They had to fight the algae, so they drew the lake down like 30 feet. So the lake is low right now.
They had to fix the locks they broke.
Well, and to address that algae problem is what
But,
they
you
said
know,
they were gonna
we're
do.
still getting it from them. We wouldn't have had that damage if they hadn't opened up those locks like that. The river was bone dry. It was like a tidal wave because they just opened the locks. We have to have some way that we can have some control, or to be able to talk to them that, why are you doing this to us over and over again? 5 inches should never have created that problem.
Yep, I agree with you.
On that, I have asked Mike Zerlo to serve on the Emergency Preparedness Committee with the county, because I agree with you. And I think in a case like this, we saw it coming. So the river, both lakes should have been lowered in preparation and gradually let out. So one of my goals is to get on that committee and have some sort of plan in effect for a predictable emergency. And there's gonna be emergencies that backdoor us all the time.
And not to shut the water in the river completely.
There needs-
It was
I think
awful.
Shazy needs to look seriously at letting the state control the dam as opposed to whoever they can find.
I think so.
No offense to anyone, but.
Shazy Lake is supposed to communicate with us down here when they do that, and they're not. Now that they've got a new person, I've gotta get back, find out who that is and try to open lines of communication with them. Joe wasn't that bad with, Joe Varon was pretty good about
But
it.
the other 2 floods before was caused by the same reason. They opened up their locks. They like to keep their lake deep. But boy, you kill everything in our river, and then if a storm comes, we have to pick up the mess after them. So something really should be addressed to them about this. It's happened 3 times. They keep fixing their locks, because they just open it up. We're lucky more people weren't killed because of it.
Yeah.
And they should be held responsible, to the point of even paying for the damage that they caused by their actions up above. You know, it's not the Indian Dam that's giving us problems, it's the Shazy Lake. And we've gotta have some power to control and safeguard our river. There was just a trickle in the river all summer long. That's not right either, it's killing everything in
See,
our river.
DEC's supposed to watch that, they're supposed to have at least the normal flow for the fish and stuff, they're not supposed to go below that. So, DEC needs to address that also.
I would think our council here should protect its citizens as best as possible, even if it's only reinforcing the fact that something needs to be done concerning all of these issues from the beginning to the end.
Sure.
The ecological damage is
Oh,
horrifying.
it's horrible what they did to the river, no water in the river at all summer.
And, you know, somebody has to start speaking up, and it's obviously politicians who can do it.
Well,
They don't listen to me.
we have been on our end, of course, we're only town officials, but,
Well, that's where it
I'll get a
starts.
hold of DEC and, try to set up, explain what happened, and maybe they'll come up with some kind of committee that'll work better, maybe we can come up with a committee.
Some town is gonna, make the point at some point.
They should be held responsible and help pay for some of the bills to fix it, to clean up our river, if they caused it.
Yeah, I know they did cause some, of course, everything, the beaver dam letting go didn't help any either, that was huge, and that washed out, down through the Elder Bend Road, that was all beaver dams that let go, and
It was
they're
like
making
a
an awful
tidal
mess
wave
in there.
that came through.
Sure was.
I mean, somebody really opened up the gates pretty wide.
We'll check that out, and we'll try to get some kind of a committee between the town of Dannemora and DEC.
That would be good.
But the towns all the way down the river, maybe we'll come up with something where they communicate a little better than they have been.
And keeping the level of the water in Shazy River.
See, that's
in a
DEC,
healthy-
want to get after that, there's no reason that they shouldn't have picked up on that.
All summer long they held it back.